Hi, welcome to another math lesson. Today we are going to do a little bit more of comparing with numbers. I'm still sitting in the same chair and I'm still wearing the same clothes as the last time because I'm recording the video at the same time as the last one. So if you've noticed I'm wearing the same clothes and sitting in the same chair and talking in the same way, it's because I'm literally doing this right after that first one you just watched. Okay, so today for this next lesson, we're going to do some length work. We're going to be doing some measurements with some stuff. So this might be some new things for you. This is going to stretch your mind a whole bunch while you're practicing, and that is okay. We like that. So for this lesson, you are going to need, out of your student journal, you're going to need a couple things. Okay, so you need page 49. It looks like this. It's got a bunch of little fun stuff all over it. And for this particular lesson, you are going to need to make yourself a little measurement thing. So here's a real easy way to do it. Eventually there'll be an easy way to do it once I get back with all the stuff. Okay, so on your piece of paper here, could you come in real close and check this out right here? So on the top of our page that we're going to be working on, there's a little string right here. So we can take a piece of paper. If we don't have a piece of string, we're just going to use a piece of paper. We're going to take a pen or a pencil. I took a pen. We're going to make a little mark right here at the beginning of this piece. I guess they call it string in the book. And we make another mark right there. I'm going to connect them real fast. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors. At this point, you guys might want to ask an adult to do this for you, or an older sibling. They probably have a little bit more control with their scissors, and that's okay. You'll get there. So what I did was I made a little piece of string out of paper. And that way we're going to be able to use it when we do our measurements in this page a little bit later. If you don't have a piece of scissors or whatever, you can literally take a piece of paper and you can fold it to the right size. So you make your little marks like that, right there and right there. That's about the same size as that. And then we're just going to fold the paper. And then the paper is going to be the same size as that string after we folded it. And then we can use it later when we're measuring a little bit. So that's going to be what we're going to be working on later. I'm going to read you a little story that kind of goes along with this lesson. It kind of talks about different ways that we can compare things. That last lesson was comparing greater than numbers. Today we're going to look at different ways that we can use to describe things, including length and measurement. So, the story is called The Clown's New Clothes, and I've recognized some funny things about this story. So we'll see if you can catch them, or if I can correct them while we're reading the story. The Clown's New Clothes. Written by James Burnett and Calvin Irons. Right away, we can kind of tell what this story might be about because I called it The Clown's New Clothes. It's probably going to be a story about clowns, clothes, and newness. All right, let's check it out. Clown's New Clothes. Somebody is honking for our enjoyment. There they go. A big circus has just come to town, and I want to be the best dressed clown. I already have a bright red nose, but I really need to buy new clothes. Which of these should I wear? I like short pants with matching hair. I like short pants. That's one of those words that we use to describe short. So check out our 3 different pairs of pants here. Which ones do you think he's gonna pick? He likes short pants. He also said with matching hair. And if it matches, that means it's the same. So if he likes short pants and he says he has hair that matches, that means he wants long hair, medium hair, or short hair. If it matches, means the same. He also wants short hair. See if you can find the short hair. How do you know it's short? Something to think about. Which pair of shoes will it be? These long ones look good on me. Check out the 3 pairs of shoes. Which ones do you think are the long ones? Do you think they are these, or these? The long ones. That's another word that we use to compare. Long. Thin laces are always hard to tie. I wonder which pair I should buy. And you're gonna have to get real close on this one to check out those shoelaces because they're kind of hard to see. One of these the word that we use on this page was thin. Which of these shoelaces would you say is the thin pair? But our friend the clown said that thin shoelaces are hard to tie. So do you think he wants the thin ones? No, they're super hard to tie. Which ones do you think he might actually want instead? I need a belt to wear with pride. I like the red one. It is wide. Wide is another word that we use to compare things. Wider or thinner would be the opposite. On this page is one of the mistakes that I noticed. Which one of these is the red one? Is it this one? Is it this one? Is it this one? Which one is the widest belt on this page? If you said this one, you're correct. But the clown said the red one is wide. I think he's being a little silly. I think he's trying to trick us a little bit. Which set of buttons will I pick? I like these. They look thick. Thick is another word that he uses to compare in this one. Thick would be the opposite of thin. Which one do you see being the thickest button? You kind of have to get real close to check that out. To me, these look like the thin ones. These look like a medium one, and these look thick to me. So he might be confused on this page too. I must make sure I am well dressed. Which tie do you think is best? And on this one, you get to pick whichever one you want. Because right here, we do not have a comparison word. A funny hat should always be tall. I like this one best of all. Again, we have our clown being a little silly. It looks like he's holding on to this one, but is this the tall hat? If we look at the other two, is it as tall as this one? Is it as tall as this one? Absolutely not. This is the shortest hat. This is the short hat. Here's a medium hat, and here's a tall hat. So I'm guessing he probably would like this one if he wants to be funny. So in our story, The Clown's New Clothes, he uses a bunch of words to compare things. He uses tall, he uses short, he uses long and wide, and these are all measurements that he uses to figure out which outfit he's going to want to wear to be the funniest. Now, you are going to do a little bit of practicing with measurement in just a minute, because I'm going to get some other stuff ready, and then we will jump right into doing some measurement with your little piece of paper and string that we had, and we'll check back in just a second and do that. Okay, so with that clown story, we did a bunch of different comparisons. We used a bunch of different comparison words to help us with our numbers. I've moved rooms because I needed to set up a different thing for you to look at. Today, I told you earlier that we're going to focus on length. So that story talked about long, it talked about thin, it talked about wide, it talked about a bunch of different comparisons. Today, we're just going to focus on length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick this thing up. I'm going to turn it around so you can see, and I'm going to see if you guys can find which one is the longest thing. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm going to pause and then flip it around. What I've done is I've set up a couple things here for you to look at and see if you can figure out which one is the longest thing. All right, let's take a look at them. So we're looking at our little red straws here. I use pipe cleaners. Which one of these would you say is the longest? If you said this one right here, you are correct. That one is the longest. And we go down the way. This one's the next longest, the next longest, and the next longest. Another way we could talk about this one is saying it is the shortest. It is also shorter than this straw, and this straw, or pipe cleaners, I guess. This one is longest and longer than this, and this. It is the longest out of all of them. It's bigger than all of them. This one is the shortest or shorter than all the rest of them. So that's something that we can do with comparing these things. I have another set of objects right over here, and these are completely different objects. Which one of these would you say is the longest? Or biggest is another way to think of it. I kind of tricked you a little bit here because one of these objects I have not stretched out. Did you say this one is the longest right here? You're right. This one does look the biggest the way I'm doing it. Look at my gigantic hand. This one is the biggest. If I used it to compare this one's not as big. And this one's not as big either. This one's the shortest for sure. But my trick that I did was I didn't stretch this guy out. This is a little bit of ribbon. So let's stretch it out and see how they compare now. Sorry you're in the dark. I gotta stretch it out, and that takes me putting a book down on top of it. So I needed to put down my camera. All right, so here, there's still camera going, I promise. Sorry to leave you in the dark for so long. This is kind of a hard video to do all on your own. All right, so I set them up. I put some books on our ribbon so we can actually say which one's longest. Now which one's longest? If you said the ribbon, you are right. This one right here is huge compared to this one, which is even bigger than this one. So what you're gonna do today is you're gonna do a little bit of measuring in your book. I'm gonna pause this and switch my camera around so I can show you what you're gonna be doing. So I'll start again. Right, so for your work that you have to do today, you are gonna need to get out your page 49 that we showed a little bit earlier. You're gonna need to get out your little piece of string or little piece of paper that we made earlier in the video. I colored mine green so it's a little bit easier to use. And you're going to need to find 2 different colored crayons. I'm gonna use blue and yellow because that's what it says to use in our book. You can use any 2 colored crayons or even 2 colored pens, a pencil and a crayon, just 2 different things so we know which one it is. Now, this is gonna be hard to do, me telling you how to do it and showing it to you, so I'm gonna try my best to get this flipped around. All right, so on our paper here, it says, color the pictures blue that are shorter than your string or paper. Color the pictures yellow that are longer than your string. So I pulled out my little string here. I'm gonna go and move these crayons out of the way, and I'm gonna start putting my little string up next to these things. So let's go ahead and check out the pencil. Let's start with the pencil. So I put my little string down, I hold it nice and flat, and I line up the top part. That's really important that you line up at least one part with the end of the thing so you can measure it. You can't put it down here in the middle of the pencil or you can't measure it. So you got to put it up here with the top. I measured from this top portion right here. I lined that up to see if it was longer or shorter. So right now there's tons of pencil down here showing. That means that this pencil is longer than the string. I can still see pencil. So if it is longer, we said we're going to color it yellow. So for this one, the pencil gets colored yellow. All right, it is longer than the string. Now, we're going to go ahead and try this little key here. I need to match up one end with the top of the key so that I know that I am measuring the whole key. I can't just put it willy-nilly like that or it won't measure right. So I lined up this top part with my string. And which one is longer? Is the string longer or the key? For this one, the key is definitely shorter than the string. See how the key stops, but my string keeps going. In our directions here, it says, color the pictures that are blue if they are shorter than your string. This key is definitely shorter than my string, so I'm going to color this blue. I'm not worried about too much about staying in the lines for this because I'm holding one thing with this hand and coloring with this one. It's okay, it's blue. I know that this one, I think, is shorter than my string, and I measured it, so I know. So what I want you guys to do is take your little string, and I want you to compare each one of these things. If it's shorter, color it one color. If it's longer, color it the other color. Once you get all these things colored in, and you think you know which ones are shorter and which ones are longer than your string piece, take a picture of this page, send it to your teachers so they can check it out. Good job with measuring today. We'll keep working on this throughout all of math. So if you don't get it right away, no big deal. This has been Mr. McArdle's Hand. Thank you so very much for coming and talking to me today. Have a good day.